Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Southern Virginia University Women's Volleyball. Tonight, we are in Knight Arena where the matchup will be between the Bridgewater College Eagles and your SVU Knights. Thank you for joining us. I'm Colby Kemp, and joining me on the call tonight will be Cadence Van Divner. Cadence, the Lady Knights, they come into the match tonight on a bit of a downer, losing their last two matches, and Bridgewater's going to be a tough opponent tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Just looking at the standings, they both have very similar records for the season. Bridgewater has a 13-5 overall record right now, and SVU Knights have a 12-6 record. So very even with their records. And we've seen Bridgewater earlier in the season, they were able to win in 3 sets against Greensboro. And the Knights just barely fell to a match against Greensboro just a few weeks ago. So it's going to be a really close game. It's going to be a tough one for the Knights, but it'll be a good match to watch overall.
No, should be an exciting match, a lot of good volleyball. Like you mentioned, several common opponents. You know, both teams have played, like you mentioned, Greensboro, Washington and Lee. You know, actually Bridgewater, they swept Washington and Lee, and the Generals actually took the match 3-1 over SVU. So tonight, you know, the Knights have their, you know, have their work cut out for them here, and it'll be interesting to see how they respond.
A win here would be huge for the Knights as well, especially after the last 2 losses as well. So we'll see if they'll be able to rally together and get that win.
And right off the bat, there is a point scored by Bridgewater off the serve. That is Alexis Curry serving for the Eagles. And that will be a second point for Bridgewater. A good rally played there, but ultimately, Bridgewater comes away with the point. And there's a kill by Aubrey Packer to get the first point for the Knights. She recovered well there. She received the serve, and the Knights were scrambling a little bit, but she came from deep and got the kill there. Gracie Fulton with the service error. Something you don't often see with Gracie. She's second on the team in aces with 26.
Yeah, she's shown to be a good, consistent player all around this season, being a very good libero for the team, leading in digs, and she usually has great serves as well. So seeing that service ace this early on is a little frustrating. I know as a coach, you never want to see those service aces, but as long as they minimize those, I know the Knights will be just fine.
No, absolutely. Gracie's a valuable member of this team. Actually currently sits number 39 in the country in total digs. And there's another point for the Knights, so they draw even at a score of 3. Lucy Richens on to serve for the Knights, and she is the team leader in aces with 29. Her serve sails just wide, so Bridgewater takes the lead 4-3. Back to serve. Faith Depew. Faith Depew is a senior out of Virginia Beach. And the Knights get back on track there with a point. Close the gap to 6-4, and Aubrey Packer will go back to serve. Aubrey with the tough serve off the top of the net. Bounce goes the Knights' way, and Knights close to within one. A battle at the net, won by the Eagles. They gain the side out. And number 18, Reagan Stoop, back to serve, junior out of Bellhaven, North Carolina. And she serves wide. Point go to the Knights. Early on here, Cadence, we're seeing both teams struggle a little bit, both with serves and some passing mistakes as well.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of small communication errors, overpasses. This seems to be a little bit of a frantic playing right now, as both teams are trying to start ahead. But hopefully we'll see both teams be able to clean it up a little bit, and so we can see more rallies.
Absolutely. I'm sure both coaches would be happy to see both sides clean it up a little bit. Macy Weatherly with the big block at the net gets the point for Southern Virginia. And Southern Virginia will get that point. So Maya Veselinovic trying to dump one over on the Knights, but it was picked up. Summer Hahn with the serve, and Summer Hahn gets the point. The Knights now jump out to a 9-7 lead. Summer Hahn, she's a sophomore out of North Logan, Utah. And the Knights there, Cadence, are able to capture a little bit of momentum there after a little bit of a shaky start.
Yeah, calling a timeout this early in the game too. Bridgewater, you can tell, just wants to get their feet under them, take a minute to refocus, reset. We've seen a lot of scrambling on the net and lots of little tips and plays that haven't been as clean. So I know Bridgewater coaches are trying to minimize that kind of playing right now.
Seems like they've contributed a little bit. The Knights seem to be a little bit out of sorts, but they've scored a few points here to take that lead. And some of that has come at the expense of, like you said, some scrambling play by the Eagles. So a good timeout there taken by Coach Erin Harris. She's in her 15th season at Bridgewater as the head coach. Of course, Coach Debbie Baker, she is in her 8th season here at Southern Virginia. Come out of this timeout with Summer Hahn still back serving for the Knights. And Downs with the kill. And the Knights will take a 10-7 lead behind some strong serving from Summer Hahn. Point Eagles off the hand of Agnes Alford. Scoring the point. And there's that rough bounce we see oftentimes here in the barn off the ceiling. Of course, it's playable if it comes back on your own side. Gracie Fulton unable to dig that one.
Yeah, we see some of our opponents struggle with that coming to play here in the barn, getting used to and adjusting to that low ceiling, as sometimes the ball can come off a little hot off the ceiling, off that first initial pass. And the Knights practice here every day, so we're able to usually maneuver around those, but every once in a while you'll get a wild pass like we just saw.
Oftentimes it's a quick redirect off that ceiling. You never quite know exactly where it's going and how hot. And that's an ace off the hand of Jillian Lovin for Bridgewater. And Bridgewater, they've come back out of that timeout to take an 11-10 lead. And Ann Downs finds the back corner with the kill. Probably the longest rally of the match so far. Talia Quinn back to serve for the Knights. And Macy Weatherly with the block at the net. Quinn back to serve once again. Talia, a freshman out of Orem, Utah. And a battle at the net, eventually won by Veselinovic. Scores the point for Bridgewater. Saw players from both teams right there at the net kind of blocking it back and forth, and ultimately she got the last swing.
The timing of those blocks is so important. And the Knights, their blocks defensively is definitely one of their strong suits. The Knights lead in blocks in the conference. A couple of the girls do. And Ryan Vale has 75 blocks on the season, which is a very impressive statistic. And Summer Hahn also has 65 blocks on the season. So we've seen those middle hitters and those outside hitters on the Knights side just be able to work together and really dominate on the net with those blocks defensively.
Another long rally here by the two teams. And Emma Broadbent gets the kill. And going back real quick to your point, Cadence, actually Ryan Vale is number 2 in the country at blocks per set. And Southern Virginia is number 2 in the country with blocks per set as a team. So, you know, tough at the net. Right there, I'm not sure that was a block. I think that was hit into the net, but nevertheless, the presence there by those middle blockers. Bailey Savage back to serve. Knights have jumped out again to a 3-point lead. Macy Weatherly gets her hands on it, but the Knights unfortunately unable to come up with a dig. So Alexis Curry will go back to serve for the Eagles. She's a sophomore out of Mechanicsville, Virginia. And she gets the ace. A great serve there. Came just over the top of the net and just fell to the floor.
Very difficult to pass those as a defense. Curry leads her team in aces with 22.
And that's Reagan Stoop with the kill. Pulls the block for the Eagles, and that evens this first set back at 15 apiece. Curry serve, sells wide, side out for SVU, and Gracie Fulton heads back to serve. And after a lot of good defense there during that rally, the Knights finally get the kill from Emma Broadbent. Great rally there.
Lots of hustle from the Knights, just getting that ball up and making it playable for their other teammates to be able to get a good hit on it.
Gracie serves just long, side out for Bridgewater. Back to serve, number 14, Gabby Atwell. And another big swing from Emma Broadbent. Scores the point for Southern Virginia. Cadence, Emma Broadbent really continues to have a great freshman year here at Southern Virginia. Really added a lot to the team for Coach Baker.
Definitely. She's gotten Rookie of the Week a couple times now, I think. Just showing how skilled she is as a freshman coming onto the team and being able to establish herself and really showing her talent, being able to put the ball in play and put it down where the opposing team can't defend it.
She's second on the team in kills behind Aubrey Packer. And like you mentioned, Rookie of the Week a couple times here in the USA South, so great season so far for Broadbent. Freshman out of Oakley, Utah. SVU gets the point, and Packer back to serve. And Veselinovic once again with the dump. That time she dumped it a little bit, back in the back part of the court. Saw a big hole there, and that scores the point for Bridgewater. Stoop to serve. I believe that kill came off the hand of Jordan Jensen. She's checked in to the match. Freshman out of Brea, California. Tough play there. Bridgewater blocks it right back off the head of Ann Downs after she'd made a good swing. Side out, Bridgewater. They trail by 1 here in this first set. Claire Griffith scores the point for Bridgewater. And Coach Baker, she'll go ahead and call a timeout here for Southern Virginia as they've seen Bridgewater come back and tie this at 20 apiece. We'll go ahead and take this timeout and be right back in just about a minute. We welcome everybody back here inside the barn as Bridgewater and Southern Virginia will continue this first set, currently tied at 20. Jillian Levin back to serve. And Jordan Jensen with another kill for the Knights. Emma Broadbent and Talia Quinn back on the floor. Quinn will go back to serve. Once again, Veselinovic with the quick dump.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of little dumps and a lot of scrappy plays from Bridgewater where they'll take that second ball and just try to find some space on the court and just being very court aware and just seeing those little scrappy plays that maybe you don't see as much from other opponents.
Not very scrappy in there. You see, once again, another serve off the net that goes to the other side, and that's an ace for Lindsay Kelly and Bridgewater. They take the lead 22-21, and Coach Debbie Baker will call the second timeout here in this set as she tries to get her defense set. And like you mentioned, Cadence, it's been a little bit difficult for them to get that set up on defense because Veselinovic, she likes to go with that little dump off that second, on that second hit. And she's found some space for the night, on that night defense several times here in this first set.
Yeah, especially being able to push that dump so deep onto the other court. It makes it hard to defend because you never know if she's going to tip the ball or push it deep. So the Knights just have to be on their toes and be ready to expect anything with those.
So both teams come back out onto the floor. Kelly will continue to serve. She's a sophomore out of Mount Airy, Maryland. Another long rally, and Ann Downs and Macy Weatherly team up for the block at the net to even things up at 22. Bailey Savage back to serve for the Knights, sophomore out of Rio Rancho, New Mexico. And another tough break for the Knights off the ceiling here in the barn. Point goes to the Eagles. Alexis Curry back to serve as they lead 23-22. Faith Depew able to tool the block of Aubrey Packer, and that brings Bridgewater to set point. Curry back to serve. Her serve sails long. So Gracie Fulton, she will head back to serve for the Knights. They trail by a point. Good dig by Fulton. And Aubrey Packer with the cross-court kill ties this first set at 24.
Lots of high energy on the court with such a close first set. Both teams want it.
And another block at the net. Summer Hahn gets the block, and that brings the Knights to their set point. Fulton keeps it alive. Packer, Doug. This is quite the point going on right here, Cadence.
Such a long rally, such good defensive plays on both sides.
And there's the kill off the hand of Emma Broadbent. Seals the first set for Southern Virginia.
What an exciting first set and start to this match. Such a close match. First set, excuse me. Both teams just fighting to the very end, and just the SVU was able to pull through just at those last couple points.
And what an exciting final point of the set. One of the, probably the longest point that I've seen, longest rally I've seen all season long. And both teams made some great blocks, made some digs, kept the point going, and ultimately, you know, as the freshman, you know, we gave her a lot of run there in the middle of the set. You know, she came through with a big hit at the end to finish it off. So SVU, they take the first set by a score of 26-24. We'll go ahead and take this break and come back in a couple minutes with set number 2. And if it's anything like the first, it's going to be a lot of excitement, Cadence.
Definitely. Can't wait for set 2. See you then.
We want to welcome everybody back here for set number 2 of this match between Bridgewater College and Southern Virginia. Southern Virginia taking a very exciting first set by the score of 26-24. A back and forth set. Knights will serve to open up this second set. Bailey Savage will do the honor for the Knights. Aubrey Packer able to score a point using the block of Bridgewater. And a passing error by Bridgewater off that serve. It goes over, and Aubrey Packer able to get the kill, and the Knights take a 2-0 lead to open up this second set.
Aubrey Packer once again just showing how much of a valuable player she is. Really being able to take control of that ball and hit it where it needs to go in order for the Knights to score the points. She has been such a great player this season. She leads in kills with 231 on the season. So she's been a phenomenal player and such a key player for the Knights this season.
And that will add a block to her tally on the year as she goes up and gets that block. Knights lead 3-0. And the block made there by Gabby Atwell for Bridgewater. They go on the board, and Alexis Curry back to serve for Bridgewater. Macy Weatherly with the big swing. Bridgewater unable to respond after that swing. So Gracie Fulton back to serve. Summer Hahn with the delicate touch scores the point for Southern Virginia.
Very smart play there by Summer. Just seeing that big hole on the left side of the Bridgewater defense and just being able to get her hands on it and just push it right to the side where no one could get it. It's a very heads-up play.
Ball served long by Gracie Fulton. Atwell back to serve for Bridgewater. Emma Broadbent. Her attempt goes wide. SVU leads 5-3. Bridgewater serves. And Packers attempt sails a little wide as well. Atwell continues serving for Bridgewater. And the attempted dump there by Southern Virginia is met and responded to there by Stute of Bridgewater, and that evens the score at 5 apiece. Agnes Alford with the block for Bridgewater, and now they've stormed all the way back here early, Cadence, to take a 6-5 lead in this second set.
Yeah, we can see both teams just really putting it all out there. We know the beginning of the first set was a little messy on both sides, But I feel like in the beginning of this set, we've seen both teams kind of clean it up, and they're both playing really well, just defending each other really well. So it really comes down to who's able to get those initial passes, they're able to make the plays, and to find holes in the other team's defense, which we've seen from both teams, trying to find those holes and just being strategic with their placement of the ball.
No, as much as we talked about, that first, 10, 15 points of that first set, we're maybe a little sloppy at times. Then to have that set capped off by such an exciting point, and both teams have really carried that momentum from that last point into this second set, playing very well. And we see Southern Virginia win that long rally. Lucy Richens back to serve. Lucy is a freshman out of Riverton, Utah. And the kill there off the hand of Faith Depew for Bridgewater. That ties things at 7, and Depew back to serve for the Eagles. A good serve by Depew. Makes it difficult for the Knights to return, and Bridgewater goes back on top, 8-7. Once again, Southern Virginia looks deep. And push that ball just a little too deep. 9-7, Bridgewater. Depew serves. Veselinovic once again, and that wasn't so much as a dump cadence, but she went up there and she got a little bit of speed, a little bit of strength on that one. It was a tough shot to defend.
Yeah, especially the Knights defense. You're not expecting a setter to come up and take a full swing like that on that second ball.
Another long, well-played point that sees Bridgewater earn that, and they will take an 11-7 lead, and Coach Baker, once again, she'll call a timeout.
See, Bridgewater has been making the most out of every ball. You can see that they've been trying to push balls to deep corners, to mix it up with tips, and to have dumps by their setters. Lots of different types of offensive plays that make it hard for the Knights to know what's coming and hard to defend against for any team.
Absolutely. They're really changing it up well. Like you said, they're changing sides. They got the dumps going, short and long. And then when Veselinovic, that last one that she got some, a little bit of power behind that one, makes it really tough to defend. It's not that the Knights aren't playing well, but they just haven't been able to switch it up maybe as much as Bridgewater has thus far in this second set.
Yeah, and that court awareness, too, comes in huge with those kind of plays. Being able to look over at the opposing side, read the defense, and then either push the ball or place it wherever there is not a person there. We've been able to see Bridgewater do that pretty well as well.
So both teams back out on the floor. We'll see what Coach Baker was able to scheme with her side. Depew still serving, and right off the bat, big swing by Aubrey Packer scores the point for the Knights. So able to stop a little bit of that momentum with the timeout, come right back out and get a quick point. Packer back to serve. And the Knights come right out of that timeout and scored 2 quick points and close the gap to 9-11. Stoops' attempt is blocked at the net. Depew will try from the back row, and that will go off the hands of the Knights. That'll be side out, Bridgewater, and they lead 12-9. Stoop to serve. Knights are able to work in a little bit of a dump of their own to earn the side out. Summer Hahn back to serve. Macy Weatherly pulls the blocks, scores a point for the Knights. And Cadence going back to that first set. You know, we saw Summer Hahn go on a little bit as a serving run and score some points for the Knights.
Those runs really are huge with volleyball too. If you're able to consistently get a tough serve over the net, then your opponents have to scramble a little bit, and it's harder for them to get a good pass, a good set, a good spike off that first serve. So we know those tricky serves are so important offensively to be able to help your team out.
And that's a point, once again, for Bridgewater. Just to recap, we talk about the serve and the run, and Summer unfortunately hits one a little wide, sends the ball over to Bridgewater. Jillian Levin back to serve. And Downs with the big swing scores the point for the Knights. SVU serving here. Talia Quinn, 12-14. Knights chasing Bridgewater. And Downs, a little off balance, I believe, on that one. Point goes to the Eagles. Lindsay Kelly back to serve for Bridgewater. 15-12 here in this second set. Macy Weatherly once again gets the point for the Knights. Bailey Savage back to serve. Going for that corner, but it was just a little long. Side out Bridgewater. Alexis Curry on to serve. Emma Broadbent with the kill.
SVU Knights have so many strong hitters offensively in every position. It's always so fun to see what kind of plays they do on the net and how each one of their hitters is able to dominate in their position and to make such strong kills. It's impressive to see the versatility and knowing that you can trust every person in your offense.
Yeah, Knight's really starting to mix it up a little bit. Last point scored off the hand of Depew for Bridgewater. Aubrey Packer with another block at the net. That brings the score to 17-15. Bridgewater leading. Lucy Richens onto the floor, and she will serve for Southern Virginia. Faith Depew once again. She's had a really good set here for Bridgewater here in this second set. Summer Hahn pulls the block of Reagan Stoop. Point goes to Southern Virginia. And Aubrey Packer back to serve. And Downs takes a deep shot that goes off the hand of Anna Black. Point goes to the Knights. Looked like that ball might be a little long, but Black, unfortunately, for the Eagles, wasn't quite sure. And there for the first time tonight, we see a serve hit the net and fall back onto the service team side. Point goes to Bridgewater, and Stoop back to serve. Great dig attempt by Gracie Fulton. Unfortunately, it hit the ceiling, came right back at her. So that point will go to Bridgewater. Bridgewater leading 2017. They have Reagan Stoop back serving. She has 20 aces on the year. So, the Knights here, they're down 2017. What do they got to do to rally here and maybe, make this set as tight as it was in the first?
Definitely, we need to see the Knights just working together and trying to find those holes in Bridgewater's defense and minimizing the small errors we've seen on the Knights side. We've had a few service aces this set, and especially with a set this close in score, every point counts. And those service errors, really add up and can be a huge momentum shifter to either side. So really just being able to take control of every point and every ball that they're given.
Absolutely. Sure, Coach Baker is telling them, you're down 3, you need 8 points to win this first set. Meanwhile, Bridgewater, they're going to come out and they have, they're going to play tough. They've played tough all night long. And like we said, they have Reagan Stoop back to serve. And that point will go to Bridgewater. That takes them out to a 4-point lead. Great dig by Bridgewater. Gracie Fulton returns the favor.
Another great rally and great defense on both sides. We've seen some impressive digs.
And in the end, it's a soft touch by Bridgewater that finds some space. And that puts Bridgewater out now to a 5-point lead, 22-17. What an exciting point to watch.
Volleyball is so much more fun and exciting to watch when both teams are performing to such a high level of play, where you can see such impressive rallies on both sides.
That time the Knights defend. The quick push by Veselinovic very well. She goes to it again off the block of Summer Hahn, and Bridgewater out to a 6-point lead. 23-17. They've scored 3 points here behind the serving of Reagan Stoop. Agnes Alford with the kill. Brings us to set point, 24-17 here in the second set for Bridgewater. And that point will go to the Eagles. That's off the hand of Claire Griffith. And the Eagles will take set two by a score of 25-17. So we're knotted up here at one set apiece as the two teams switch sides. But so far, Cadence, we've had a lot of exciting volleyball here. You know, a lot of good volleyball to watch. Some really long points here so far. You know, and we know we're in for at least two more sets of the same.
Yeah, especially just seeing Bridgewater just close that gap there at the end and just be able to dominate and take control of the ball. It'll be exciting to see who can come out on this third set with the momentum and just start strong. But we know chances are it'll probably be another close battle. So it all comes down to who can make those plays and make those small adjustments and be able to come out on top.
No, it should be exciting to see who comes out here, what adjustments are made. You know, even though that second set ended up 25-17, it was a lot closer than that. A lot of well-contested points. So we'll go ahead and take a break here and be back here for set number 3 between Bridgewater and Southern Virginia. We're back here in Knight Arena, about to start the third set of this match here between Bridgewater College and Southern Virginia University. Score is currently 1 set apiece. Alexis Curry serves for Bridgewater. And Emma Broadbent, she'll open the scoring here in this third set with a well-placed spike. She hits the back corner. And Gracie Fulton back to serve for Southern Virginia. And Emma Broadbent, a quick 2 points off of her hand to open up the set. Knight's offense already looking a little bit more organized here to open the set than what they closed out set number 2.
Definitely, Knight's looking to take that momentum and be able to run with it here at the beginning of the set.
Side out, Bridgewater. Gabby Atwell back to serve for the Eagles. And Reagan Stoop with the big swing for the Eagles. Knots this set at 2. That attempt sails long, point for Bridgewater. After 2 quick points by the Knights. Now Cadence Bridgewater, they've stormed back with 3 of their own, which is kind of how the match has gone so far tonight.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth, very competitive volleyball we've seen tonight. The score will usually be pretty close, as we've seen in the first 2 sets. Lots of good plays from both teams, big hits, a lot of scrappy playing from Bridgewater too. Just finding ways to get points on the board.
Aubrey Packer ties it up. 3 apiece. Lucy Richens to serve. Summer Hahn with the block at the net. Point goes to the Knights. Lucy Richens back to serve. Another point off the hand of Aubrey Packer. 5-3, Southern Virginia. And the attempt by Bridgewater goes a little long. So the Knights, they come right back with 4 points of their own. And that point will go to the Knights. as the Bridgewater defender was into the net. So Knights come out to a 7-3 lead. And like we've said, it's been a set of runs already. 2 points by Southern Virginia. Bridgewater answers back with 3. And then Southern Virginia, now they're on a 5-point run here. Take a 4-point lead. Timeout taken by Coach Harris. And she'll try to get her team organized, much the same as Coach Baker was attempting to do at the end of last set.
Knights were really able to take control of those last few points, just playing very cleanly, being able to see a lot of powerful kills and hits, and just being able to really capitalize on those.
Cadence, we knew coming into tonight, we were hoping that it was going to be a great match, and so far it's delivered.
Definitely. There's been so many long rallies in this game already. Lots of very skilled volleyball, lots of grit from both teams, getting balls up that could drop normally against other opponents. Just really seeing some great volleyball on both sides.
And Richens comes back in, and her serve will go a little long. Side out Bridgewater. And also to go along with your point, Cadence, there's been a lot of variety in the way points have been scored. You see a lot of rallies, a lot of dumps, a lot of quick points. Knights unable to handle that serve. So Bridgewater, they come out of the timeout and they get 2 points. Faith Depew. And Summer Hahn gets the block. Just a little solo block there right in the middle, all by herself. Was able to put that back to the Bridgewater side. And the Knights take an 8-5 lead here in this third set. Aubrey Packer back to serve. And her serve will go long.
You can see Coach Baker getting a little frustrated on the sidelines with the amount of service errors that we've seen from the Knights. As a coach, you know that's always very frustrating when you work so hard on your serves. And then to see them not land where they're supposed to on the court is very frustrating. But the Knights have still been doing a great job at not letting those service errors affect their momentum and being able to continue to get those points.
Summer Hahn with the big swing.
What a hit, too. That came off so powerfully.
Summer back to serve with the Knights leading 9-7. And the Knights get one block with Macy Weatherly and Jordan Jensen, but the ball came right back. Unfortunately for the Knights, fell to the court. Point will go to Bridgewater, and Jillian Levin back to serve. Point Bridgewater, and that will tie things up 9-9. And Cadence, to go back to what you were talking about a little there about the errors, you know, errors are going to happen, but some of those, the unforced errors are the ones that, you know, get a little frustrated. And not just for the coaches, but also the players as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's always frustrating when you yourself don't perform to the level that you want to as well. being a player and trying to work on those serves consistently, and then when game time comes, it doesn't make it over, and you're like so frustrated. But there's always another serve, there's always another opportunity to come back at it and try again and get it in the court next time.
Knights get the point. Bridgewater had a double hit, so Talia Quinn serves for the Knights, and Bridgewater is able to earn that point. Back to serve will be Lindsay Kelly. And her serve will sail long. Knights take an 11-10 lead here in this third set. Bailey Savage. She'll come onto the court and go back to serve. And Faith Depew scores another point for Bridgewater. And she's really had a strong match here so far, Cadence.
Definitely. She's been able to make a lot of strong hits and really utilize her arm offensively and make those plays for her team when they need them. A lot of back and forth play this set. The score keeps toggling back and forth. Bridgewater now leads just by one, as both teams are looking to get a little bit of momentum here.
Alexis Curry serves for Bridgewater. Aubrey Packer gets the point with the strong hit. And Cadence, this third set, both coaches really want to get this third set that allows you to close it out in the fourth set. Because as a coach, you really want to avoid that shortened fifth set where anything really can happen. Good dig for Aubrey Packer. Unfortunately for the Knights, a teammate's unable to come over and keep that in the air, so point goes to Bridgewater, and they take the lead at 13-12. Gabby Atwell serves. Point goes to the Eagles. Off the attempted block by Southern Virginia. Point for the Knights off the hand of Aubrey Packer. Lucy Richens back onto the floor, and she'll do the serving for Southern Virginia. Lucy Richens is the team leader in aces for Southern Virginia with 29. Reagan Stoop with the big swing for Bridgewater. And Faith Depew back to serve for the Eagles. Little miscommunication there at the net by the Knights. Point would go to Bridgewater. And that point will go to Bridgewater. And they once again take a 4-point lead here in this third set. Count of 17-13. And Coach Baker, she'll call for a timeout.
Knights had a couple little miscommunication errors, a couple overpasses those last couple points. And we saw Bridgewater really just take advantage of those, taking advantage of every point that they're given and being able to run with it.
Yeah, saw a little overpass by Southern Virginia. They were able to recover, but then Bridgewater returned the favor by overpassing one of their own. But in the end, the Knights weren't able to capitalize, and ultimately, Bridgewater was able to take that point. And now they're kind of in the driver's seat here in this third set as they lead 17-13. And the Knights have their work cut out for them if they want to battle back and take this third set. Coach Baker gets that timeout with the hope of stopping the momentum that Bridgewater has at the moment.
Especially with how close the competition has been today. If the Knights want to battle back, they really have to put their whole heart and soul into it and just keep it clean on their side and be able to just fall back onto their skills and their teammates to trust in each other and make it happen.
And that time they set Aubrey Packer right in the middle, and she goes right down the middle, scores the point. And now Packer, she'll go back to serve. Tough serve by Packer. And Veselinovic once again goes with the quick second hit. She's a little wide with that, and the point goes to Southern Virginia. And they close to within 2. Packer serves. And she's just a little wide, maybe trying to be a little bit too fine there with that serve. And the serve will go over to Bridgewater as they lead 18-15. Reagan Stoop serves for the Eagles. A little bit of grit there by the Knights to return that ball, but once again, Veselinovic with that quick left hand takes it to the back right corner of the court. 19-15 Bridgewater.
Veselinovic has really been a gritty player and a hard hitter to defend this match, as she's been able to really just find those holes in the defense. As we just saw, she was able to see that the Knights were scrambling from the last up that they had just gotten, and then she was able to capitalize on that and just put it back in the corner where no one was able to even touch it.
And Downs, a little bit of a swing and a miss, but it comes out all right for the Knights. She got just enough of it to get over the block and to the floor. Summer Hahn back to serve for the Knights. And that's a tough serve for Hahn, and she comes away with the ace.
Once again with another strong serve. This match, she's been doing fantastic with her serves and really just making them hard for Bridgewater to pass up.
Once again, the tough serve causes the overpass by Bridgewater. And so Southern Virginia, they come out of that timeout called by Coach Baker. They score 3 points in a row. And now Coach Harris, she is countered with a timeout of her own for Bridgewater. And the back and forth nature of this match continues.
Very close competition. This set could be anyone's. It really comes down to who can push through these last few points of this third set.
Timeout called by Coach Harris once again, hoping to regain the momentum that her club had through much of that third set. Coach Baker hoping that her team can maintain the momentum that they seem to have gathered there during that last timeout. close the gap to just one. Both sides coming back out onto the floor. And we will see Summer Hahn continuing her service. Veselinovic once again with a quick left hand. Knights struggle with the pass. It goes off the ceiling and down to the floor. Side out Bridgewater. Jillian Levin back to serve. And Jordan Jensen with the big swing for the Knights. Gets the side out. Talia Quinn back onto the court, and she will serve with the Knights trailing 19-20. And that serve goes into the net. Point for Bridgewater. Lindsay Kelly back onto the floor, and she will serve for the Eagles. And that serve is wide to the right. And Bailey Savage onto the floor, serving for Southern Virginia. They trail by one. Another long rally, well played by both sides. And Faith Depew tries to go cross court. The net grabs that one, and that'll be a point for Southern Virginia. And that will even this set at 21 apiece. Bailey Savage serves.
Both teams are doing a great job at keeping that level head and trying to take control of the ball on their side and keeping up with those great defensive digs and plays.
Bailey Savage gets the ace, and the Knights go ahead 22-21. And the push goes just a little long. Side out goes to Bridgewater. 22 all. Alexis Curry serves for the Eagles. Tough save there by Gracie Fulton. It goes right back to her. She'd made such a great play on the ball before, unable to battle back and get that one.
Unfortunately, it just overpassed just slightly, so where the Bridgewater Eagles could capitalize on that and just hit it right back down where she wasn't ready, wasn't able to return it.
And with that point, Bridgewater battles back to take a 1-point lead, 23-22. And Coach Baker has called timeout. And now we're locked in a battle here, much like we were in that first set, 23-22. You know, this is still either side set to be had right now. Coach Baker doing what she can by calling that timeout. She sends her team back out onto the court. Bridgewater now coming back out.
Both teams looking to play confidently and close out this set.
Once again, it's Alexis Curry serving for Bridgewater. And the quick dump there. That's Gabby Atwell. And that will earn a set point for Bridgewater, 24-22. Curry with a great dig, sets up the point attempt, but Macy Weatherly with a big block for Southern Virginia.
The Knights really putting up that wall. It's so fun to see just that ball just go straight down onto the other side.
Gracie Fulton serves. Another long rally here. And Stoop with the big hit, flat-footed, sends it right down the line. And that earns set 3 for Bridgewater by a score of 25-23. Another long point, but ultimately Reagan Stoop with the, wasn't a big hit, but it was very calculated and sent it down there. So that ends a well-played third set by both squads. We'll go ahead and take the timeout as the sides will change over. Cadence, anything you want to add before we take the break?
Another super exciting set, very close at the end. Such great plays, such long rallies, especially that last point. It's just been a great match overall.
Yep, very much what we expected. And now the Knights, they have their work cut out for them. They got to come back and get this set 4 to push it to that 5th set, hoping, if they hope to get the victory here. So like I said, we'll go ahead and take this break. Have everybody join us back in about 2.5 minutes for this 4th set. Back at Knight Arena for the fourth set of this match. Bridgewater leads 2-1. I'm Colby Kemp along with Cadence Van Divner. And once again, we'll see the Knights get the first point of the set. Bailey Savage is serving for Southern Virginia.
We've seen a very close competition, a lot of great volleyball from both sides tonight. So we know that every point counts when it's this close of a competition, really just being able to utilize everything.
Bridgewater responds quickly with their first point of the set. Alexis Curry serves. Referees say that attempt did not clear the net. Point goes to Bridgewater. Aubrey Packer with the kill. That time she was able to find a little bit of space, and that space that's not often there. Bridgewater's they've been pretty tight tonight on defense.
Yeah, they've been able to dig up a lot of kills or a lot of swings off of the Knights' hands and have just really proven to be a great defensive team, getting the ball up so that it's able to be put in play.
Bridgewater playing some really good defense during this point. And then a little mistake with the overpass, and Aubrey Packer right there again. As most hitters do, they know exactly what to do with those overpasses.
It's like a little Christmas present, as my old volleyball coach used to call it, when they come right over the net, because you're just able to be like, oh, thanks for that, and just hit it straight down onto the other side.
Gracie Fulton adds to her ace total for the season. And the initial call was that the ball had hit the ceiling and come down on Bridgewater's side off the hand of Southern Virginia. But now it looks like the referees are conferring. Looked like they were going to redo the point, but in the end they do give the point to Bridgewater. So 4-3, Southern Virginia leads, but Bridgewater back to serve. This is Gabby Atwell. And that'll be a service error. Point to Southern Virginia. And Lucy Richens, she will head back to serve for Southern Virginia. And Depew with the tip. She opts for the tip as opposed for the spike. That'll be a point Bridgewater, and Depew, she will head back to serve.
Here we can see once again Bridgewater using all of their different offensive styles with those tips and those pushes, just trying to find holes in the Knights' defense, whereas the Knights rely on the strength of their hitters more frequently to get those points. Bridgewater has been shown to play more strategically with placing the ball with tips and just scrappy little hits.
That time Agnes Alford, though, she went with the strength, goes off the block, and that point will go to Bridgewater. Reagan Stoop, she'll head back to serve. She's a junior out of Belhaven, North Carolina. That goes long. So SVU leads this fourth set by a score of 7-5. Summer Hahn back to serve for the Knights. Once again, Alford off the block, gets the side out for the Eagles. And Jillian Levin back to serve. And Bridgewater into the net on that point, trying to defend that big swing by Jordan Jensen. Southern Virginia leads 8-6. Talia Quinn onto the court to serve for SVU. Quick set there by the Eagles. That goes long. Knights get that point and go out to a 9-6 lead here in this fourth set.
Knights looking to keep that lead and keep the momentum going, especially knowing that they can't drop this set or else the match will be over.
Yep, Knights are in a do-or-die situation here in this fourth set. Little miscommunication by the Eagles on that set, and the Knights get another point. And Coach Erin Harris, she will go ahead and opt for a timeout here a little bit earlier here in this fourth set, but like was said, she wants to get this fourth set. She doesn't want to go to a fifth. So we'll go ahead and take a quick timeout here with Southern Virginia leading 10-6 here in set number 4. We're back here at Knight Arena, ready to resume this fourth set. Knights serve. And once again, the Eagles are going to be called for going into the net. That will push the Knight lead to 11-6. And Talia Quinn continues to serve. And their cadence, like we've seen many times tonight, Maja Veselinovic goes with that quick push on the second hit, and that will stop the little run by the Knights. Veselinovic to serve. Knights with the passing error, and that's 2 quick points for Bridgewater coming out of that timeout. Emma Broadbent with the big swing. (12-8) SVU. Couple substitutions here for Bridgewater. Lindsay Kelly back onto the floor for Veselinovic. And Bailey Savage back to serve for Southern Virginia. And Faith Depew with the big swing, tools the block, and scores the point for Bridgewater. And Alexis Curry back onto the floor, and she will serve for Bridgewater. And that kill attempt by Bridgewater will sail long. Gracie Fulton back to serve for the Knights. And another long rally ends with a spike attempt by Packer going a little wide. So that point will go to Bridgewater. Gabby Atwell back to serve with the Eagles trailing by a score of 10-13. And Faith Depew. Another big swing by Faith. And the swing by Stoop goes long. Side out. SVU. And Lucy Richens will do the serve. And the Knights were set up for an attempt for Aubrey Packer, but unfortunately, Packer slipped. Looks like there's some moisture over there on the floor where Packer was getting ready to do some work.
Yeah, we saw Packer already on the floor as the set was coming over to her. So not ideal timing for sure. Not fun to be her in that moment.
No, a little bit of misfortune there for the Knights. Depew serves, and some miscommunication gives Depew an ace, and Bridgewater claws their way back to within a point. 13 serves 14. Excellent pass there by Bridgewater. Will end up with the Knights getting the side out and taking a 15-13 lead, and Aubrey Packer back to serve for Southern Virginia. They'll get a free ball here. And once again, the third time this set, Cadence, the Bridgewater will be called for going into the net on defense.
There's nothing, that's never something you want to see on your side of the court, those unforced errors when you're giving those points to the other side.
Summer Hahn goes up for the block. Like you mentioned earlier, Cadence, Summer Hahn, she's second on this night's squad in blocks, and she's gotten several here tonight.
Continuing to add to the amount that she has on the season. It's impressive to see just the strong presence that she has on the net. Just being able to dominate and to really shut down the other team's offense. It's really hard as an offense to be able to hit against big blockers such as Summer Hahn, because you really have to find ways to get around those blocks and make things happen.
And what we've seen here with Summer tonight is, sometimes, it's a little bit easier to get those blocks when you're able to tag team. You got the double block over there. But we've seen her make, 2, 3, 4 individual blocks, solo blocks tonight, right there in the middle of the net. So a timeout was taken by Bridgewater as they find themselves trailing by 4 here in this set. Coach Harris's squad will come back out onto the floor, looking to regain some momentum. And Aubrey Packer, she'll continue with her service for the Knights. And that will sail a little long. And so Bridgewater gets a point out of the timeout. Cadence, how many times have we seen that tonight? A timeout being called and come out, and maybe the first serve, into the net or long.
Quite a few, which I know as the coach that calls the timeout, that's something that you always hope will happen, is that the other team will miss their serve, kind of get iced out in a way. And it's frustrating when you are the team that is making that service error, because then you're like, dang it, I should have made that in, and you're just giving that momentum shift over to them.
Yeah, so a timeout well spent by Coach Harris. Knights come right back, and Downs gets a spike and a point, but then Bridgewater right here on this point, they battle back. Once again with that quick dump.
Finding those deep holes in the Knights defense.
Levin back to serve for the Eagles. And Jordan Jensen with the big swing, touched by the Eagles. So Southern Virginia, they will continue with the 4-point lead, 19-15. Talia Quinn to serve.
Knights have done a great job this set at maintaining that lead, which we haven't been able to see earlier on in this game. And it's been impressive to see them keep that lead instead of letting Bridgewater come back and take it from them.
No, they've definitely done a better job at not letting Bridgewater go on some long runs. This is another one of the long rallies that we've seen many of tonight. And in the end, Aubrey Packer with the big swing that goes off the Eagles and gives the Knights a 5-point lead here in this fourth set. Quinn back to serve once again. that swing by Bridgewater goes off the antenna. Point goes to Southern Virginia, and they lead 21-15. And once again, Veselinovic picks her spots, and with that crafty left hand, gets the point for Bridgewater. And she will go back to serve now for Bridgewater. They trail by a score of 16-21 here in this fourth set. And that will sell a little wide. So Southern Virginia with the 22-16 lead, 3 points away from sending this to a fifth set.
It was definitely the biggest lead we've seen this match from either side.
Timeout on the floor as there's some moisture once again as we await the serve from Bailey Savage. And the kill there by Claire Griffith for Bridgewater. Griffith, a junior out of Salem, Virginia. Alexis Curry now to serve for the Eagles. They trail by 5 in this fourth set. And Aubrey Packer, a little perseverance right there. She went with the big swing. It was blocked. Came right back to her, and she was able to push it over and get the point for Southern Virginia.
Great use of her reflexes, just really seeing it in. Not a lot of time to read that at all, but being able to push it right over the net.
A little bit of self-defense really is what that amounts to, right? Then Reagan Stoop with the big swing for Bridgewater. Gabby Atwell will serve. Bridgewater 18, Southern Virginia 23. Once again, some moisture on the logo.
There's a lot of jumping up and down in volleyball, so you never want to have any slick spots on the floor. Don't want any twisted ankles or injuries that could be prevented.
So the janitorial work looks to be done for the moment. Atwell ready to serve. That might be the biggest swing of the night right there so far from Aubrey Packer. Didn't hold anything back right there. And that brings the Knights to set point here in set number 4, looking to even this match at 2 sets apiece. And a well-run play there by Bridgewater. Reagan Stoop gets the point.
A lot of very strong offensive plays on both sides this set. We've seen a lot of kills from both sides. A lot of strong hitters, really utilizing their skill.
And right there, Aubrey Packer not going to be denied. Goes up. But once again, the dig ended up being a little bit of an overpass, and Aubrey Packer was able to go up and finish off the set. So Southern Virginia takes set number 4 by a count of 25-19. That will push us to the 5th set.
That 4th set, too, the biggest lead that we've seen in the match. The Knights were really able to take control of things on their side and continue pushing to lengthen that gap at the end and seal the deal. So we'll be curious to see who comes out on top in this 5th set with that momentum, because it really could be anyone's game.
No, we've had a very exciting 4 sets so far. The 5th set, I'm sure, will be more of the same. So we will go ahead and take a break here. There'll be a 3-minute changeover before they start the 5th set. So everybody, go grab a drink, a snack, and settle in for what should be an exciting 5th set here between Bridgewater and Southern Virginia. Welcome back to Knight Arena as we are ready to begin this 5th set between Bridgewater College and Southern Virginia University. Alexis Curry opens up the serving. A big swing by Aubrey Packer, but she's denied. The block goes to Gabby Atwell. And the Knights, miscommunication there, receiving that serve. So Curry gets the ace, and Bridgewater jumps out to a 2-0 lead.
Especially in this 5th set, it's very important to minimize the amount of unforced errors on your side. as this set is a lot quicker. It only goes to 15 points. So both sides really need to take control of the ball and the points that they're given. There's a lot of excitement on the court right now.
Reagan Stoop gets that point for Bridgewater. Curry Stoop once again, and Bridgewater out to a quick 4-0 lead will cause Coach Debbie Baker to take her first time out here in this set. Bridgewater's really come out on fire here in this fifth set.
Especially after falling short to the Knights in the last set, the fourth set. They're coming out strong with that fire and that passion. Really just starting strong and setting the momentum, taking control of the ball. A couple great kills on their side. And just taking advantage of the Knights' lack of defense, I guess, on a couple of those, where they weren't able to get those up.
Yeah, so Coach Debbie Baker, she's called a timeout. She'll be looking to get her team to change this momentum in a hurry. Like you mentioned, Cadence, this is just a 15-point set. First 1 to 15 will take the match. You know, this is, you know, even though it's a non-conference match, it's kind of a big match for both sides. We mentioned at the top that Southern Virginia was coming in on a 2-match losing streak. You know, Bridgewater, they lost their last match in the ODAC against Guilford, which Guilford is a little bit lower in the standings, but both squads have big matches coming up. Next, you know, a week from tomorrow, Salem comes to town, and that's a team that Southern Virginia is battling with in the USA South. And for Bridgewater, on Friday, they travel to Virginia Wesleyan, who is the first place team in the ODAC. So, you know, a lot to be gained, you know, from this match as we see Bridgewater get that point as well. So they're now ahead 5-0. And SVU, you know, the serve and that attack there by Packer hit the antenna first. So Bridgewater 6-0. And Southern Virginia gets what it needed really badly there, is a point off the hand of Emma Broadbent. So 6-1, Bridgewater leads. Gracie Fulton back to serve.
Knights looked like they were struggling to get their feet under them a little bit in the beginning of this set. So now they have to dig themselves out of a little bit of a hole that was created by that 5-point lead that Bridgewater now holds.
Some tough defense there by the Knights. They know they got to battle for every point here.
Another long rally.
We've had a lot of long points here tonight, and that may have been the longest one yet. And Bridgewater comes away with that point. And right now they have a commanding 7-1 lead here in this fifth set. Summer Hahn with the big hit.
Great swing every point the Knights get is so needed right now as they're looking to get more points on the board.
Lucy Richens with the serve. And Aubrey Packer with good placement there. We should mention that during the break, we were notified that Aubrey Packer so far tonight had 21 kills through 4 sets. The program record is 27 kills. That was Courtney Pinkston back in 2021. And if the Knights are going to make it back, they're going to need some more of those off the hand of Aubrey Packer. And there's one more point for the Knights, as they've now scored 3 points in a row. 7-4 currently in this 5th set. Bridgewater leads. And Faith Depew, who's also having a great night, once again is able to cut through that block and get the point. And that will bring us to 8-4, which means the teams will switch sides.
Knights looking to take control of each ball 1 point at a time and settle in and focus and prohibit the Bridgewater Eagles from continuing their lead.
So we'll have a substitution here before we get the next serve. Looks like Maya Veselinovic will come back onto the floor. She's also had a great evening here. Faith Depew will serve for Bridgewater. Once again, they lead 8-4 in this deciding 5th set. And that point goes to Bridgewater. And a timeout is going to be called by Southern Virginia. Once again, they've closed the gap to 3 at 7-4, but now they've fallen back by 5 as Bridgewater has taken the last 2 points.
Coach Baker looking to settle down her girls and to help them get the momentum back, to minimize those little things, and to be able to make those plays at the crucial times when they're needed.
No, unfortunately for the Knights, this is a time of the match where they have to be super focused, and they just really can't afford any more mistakes.
Every point counts, that's for sure, especially in this 5th set. There's been some great volleyball from both sides tonight. There's no doubt about that. So no matter who comes out on top in this game, both teams have fought really hard and have played incredibly well.
The teams are back out on the floor, so we are ready to resume this 5th set. Once again, it's Faith Depew serving for the Eagles. And a big swing by Aubrey Packer will sail long. Bridgewater leads 10-4. into the net goes Bridgewater, so point goes to Southern Virginia. Aubrey Packer back to serve with her squad trailing by a count of 5-10. And she gets a little help from the net and scores the ace. Knights could use a couple more of those. And Faith Depew from the back row gets another kill for Bridgewater. 11-6 Eagles. Reagan Stoop serving. A lot of good defense played in that point. Ultimately, Southern Virginia gets that. They trail by 4. 11-7.
Well fought out point by both sides.
And Veselinovic goes for the dump, but again, it goes long. 11-8, Bridgewater leads. SVU serves. Summer Hahn. And Macy Weatherly and Jordan Jensen go up for the block.
What a block. The Knights have really been able to rally these last few points and make things happen. They're not done yet. They're not backing down from the challenge. And they've been able to close the gap to now 9-11 with Bridgewater just up by 2.
That was quite the wall there formed by Weatherly. Weatherly and Jensen. And Jordan Jensen, she's come on here tonight, and she's had some big plays for Southern Virginia.
Yeah, especially coming out as a freshman, being able to seize her opportunity to be on the court and to make those heads-up plays that benefit the Knights.
So the little rally by Southern Virginia causes Coach Harris to call timeout. Like you mentioned, Cadence, the score has been closed to 9 for Southern Virginia, 11 Bridgewater in this final set. Summer Hahn will come on and continue serving. Like we mentioned, these timeouts, the servers have struggled afterwards. We'll see here if Summer can come up big. And once again, we see a serve sail long out of the timeout. Bridgewater takes the 12-9 lead. 11 will go back to serve for Bridgewater. And Downs gets the point.
What a rally. There's such great defensive plays on both sides, especially from the Knights during that rally. Some crazy dives. Aubrey Packer sliding across the court to get that ball up. It's a well-earned point.
Talia Quinn back to serve for Southern Virginia. More great defense, and in the end, Southern Virginia gets the point. And at one point, Cadence, we had a 10-4 score here in this fifth set, and the Knights have rallied back, and we now sit at 12-11. Bridgewater holds a 1-point lead, and Coach Harris will call another timeout.
With the way the Knights have been playing these past couple points, you wouldn't even know that there was a 10-4 difference.
No,
just a few
absolutely
points
not.
back.
12-11 looked a long ways away when it was 10-4 here earlier in this set. But a lot of credit to the Knights for battling back. There were a lot of hard-fought points earned there to battle back to close this gap.
A lot of impressive defensive plays on both sides of the court. Great ups from people diving all over, giving their all. Both teams really not giving up, not backing down from this fight.
We've seen a lot of very good defense played by both sides here tonight. Maybe a highlight reel of defense for the entire season by both squads.
Definitely. I'd love to see some of those diving plays on replay.
So both sides back out onto the court. Talia Quinn to serve for Southern Virginia. Claire Griffith tools the block to get the point for Bridgewater. So Bridgewater retakes a 2-point lead. And Lindsay Kelly serves for Bridgewater. Emma Broadbent with the big swing. (13-12) Bridgewater. Bailey Savage on to serve for SVU.
Every point, every ball counts this close to the end of the fifth set. Both teams pushing to the very end.
And the hit sails wide by Bridgewater, so we're all tied up. 13-13 here in the barn. And Aubrey Packer, usually she's all power, but she goes with the touch shot, and she hits the line. Cadence, I weren't sure we were going to get to say this 10 minutes ago, but match point, SVU, Bailey Savage serves. And SVU had a free ball coming their way from Bridgewater, but I'm not sure they believed it, and they were caught a little off guard. So we're tied back up, 14-14. Alexis Curry serves for Bridgewater. And that's going to be an ace for Curry.
Unfortunate timing on the Knights side.
Match point, Eagles. And once again, Curry with a great serve, and that will seal it. Bridgewater will take the fifth set by a score of 16-14 and they're going to escape the barn here with the win, 3-2.
What a close game. It was so exciting to watch from start to finish, going over 15 points even at the very end. Both teams playing such good volleyball. It was quite the match to watch.
You know, I'm sure on SVU side they'll be a little disappointed with how those last 2 points were scored by Bridgewater. Really the last 3, I guess we could say, because the Knights had a chance for the match on what appeared to be a free ball coming over. But nonetheless, credit goes to both sides, you know, for a well-played match, you know, well played for the most part, but again, there were some mistakes that, you know, at the end of the day, both sides can look back and say, you know, we made this mistake, we made this mistake. But at the end of the night, it's going to be tough to leave the barn here disappointed with the volleyball that we saw played here tonight.
Definitely. Even though the Knights fell just short, I know they played a great game, defensively, offensively, lots of great stats on the game as well. Just seeing the athletes perform on both sides, so you can't really complain about that.
So in the end, Bridgewater's going to escape with the end, but also hopefully this match, the momentum, the excitement will be the spark that Southern Virginia women's team needs to move on in this season. They're going to head down to Brevard on the weekend for a tri-match where they'll play Brevard and NC Wesleyan before they return here next week, like we said, against Salem, which that'll be a huge match.
Yeah, a lot of exciting conference games coming up soon. So hopefully they're able to take that momentum and be able to use it for their favor.
Went silent there just for a moment as the teams joined in prayer, as is always neat to see and something we see often in these parts, which is good. So once again, it's Bridgewater taking this match by a count of 3-2. We want to thank everybody again for joining us here on Night Broadcasting. Join us Saturday. We have a busy day. We have the homecoming football game as the football team, 4-1, SVU Knights take on Methodist. And later that night, men's soccer will be at home as well. So join us once again on Saturday for more from Knights Broadcasting. Once again, I'm Colby Kemp with Cadence Van Divner. And we want to thank the entire broadcasting team and all of you for joining us. Want to wish you a good evening. And as always, go Knights.